This is a rather interesting one. Whenever I try to get into a new show like this, it's at the suggestion of a friend, or a lot of people saying it's good. This one, I have never heard of until I saw it at the store one day. There was just something about the animation style and the cover that piqued my interest. Plus, with great modern kids shows such as Steven Universe, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and Gravity Falls, I wondered if this would be the next hit. I looked into it just to see what it was all about. The basic premise I got was the show is being based on a train where each car is another universe. Sounded like a pretty epic setup, and with only a cost of $10, sounded like a pretty good bet. In seeing the first episode, I can tell this may very well be the next craze, or at least a cult classic. Also, as a heads up, I will be doing these vlogs in black and white. Being such a new series, I don't know how crazy the copyright strikes against them will be. This is the first episode. We center on Tulip and her best friend Michaela. At first, I thought they were on break for summer vacation, but it turns out to be winter recess. Tulip will be heading off to a video game design camp, while Michaela will be staying behind. Before they head home, we get a little bit of character development. Tulip's parents have recently gotten divorced, which makes for some awkward conversation. They go their separate ways. When going home, Tulip's mother is on the phone with the father. However, she ignores this and goes right to her room. She is working on a new game, which is sort of like Space Invaders. Being an amateur game designer myself, I can relate to this whole sequence. The idea that getting the littlest thing to work being a great accomplishment, finding out that a small alteration in code can make a huge difference, and even talking out loud about the problem. After getting the character to move, the mother calls, telling her the unfortunate news. Her dad will not be able to take her to camp, and the mother will not be able to have time to do it either. There's quite a fierce back and forth here, with both bringing up some very valid points. Eventually, Tulip accepts the fact that she isn't going, and goes back to her room. She quickly takes her flyer for the camp and throws it away. This is a side note. The name of the camp is called Oshkosh. Before doing this review, I thought that was just a name brand of clothes. Turns out, it's a city in Wisconsin, which is where this show takes place. This is pretty similar to how Bethesda is a city in Maryland, and also a brand name. Coming back to the story, we see she is determined to make it to Oshkosh. She puts on her winter gear and goes on foot. This then prompts the title sequence. Well, sort of. All we get is the name and a montage of Tulip on her journey, all the while playing this dark, oppressive synth music. Seems as if this 80s type of sound has been making a comeback with this era of cartoons, which I'm all for. However, this one seems very distinct with its rather harsh sound, compared to the lightheartedness of, say, Steven Universe or Star vs. the Forces of Evil. After probably a few miles, she looks at the flyer again, complaining that this trip will be 300 miles. Just then, a mysterious train appears with glowing green windows. Upon inspection, Tulip finds the door labeled Oshkosh. There is minor hesitation, but she jumps in. Just then, Tulip awakens in a snowfield. Feeling enraged that it was all just a dream, she presses onward, taking her aggression out on a few snowmen. Before her fist comes down on the last snowman, it screams at her. After gaining some composure, the snowball asks, "Are you my mum?" Maybe it's just me, but if anybody asks this question, I can only think of Doctor Who. I don't know if this was intentional, but it would fit with the general theme. This odd device seems to go between two voices, one sounding like a rip-off of Michael Rosen, and the other sounding like a rip-off of Ben Stein. After some talking, the device asks, "Are you looking for your mother too?" To this, Tulip replies, "No, I'm going to Oshkosh." The device badges her with questions about Oshkosh and her parents. She then stumbles on a huge snowman with a door at the base. The device simply says the door cannot open, and the only way out is death. She then manages to open the door to reveal that she is indeed on a train. Tulip then starts badgering the device with a ton of questions, while the device is just amazed she could even open the door. In going to the next car, the group finds a grid pattern on the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. In pressing any of these squares, a block will appear. After experimenting, she makes the sprites of her game. In explaining it to the device, we find the name of the device is 1, which is repeated in both voices. I will be referring to the character as 1, but Tulip refers to it as 1-1. With attempting to hit the ceiling of the car with her glove, she notices that her hand is glowing with the numbers 115. Just then, the train stops. Tulip goes out to find that they are on what looks like the surface of Mars. Suddenly, a stream of lightning comes down and disintegrates one of the passengers. Fearing for her life, she runs off the train to find even more danger. The ground turns into thick mud when several creatures appear. I'm sure there'll be a wiki page dedicated to this, but for now, I'm just calling these creatures roach dogs. As they approach, the train starts moving. And summoning all her strength, Tulip manages to get back on that train, but is still pursued by the roach dogs. They take refuge in the cube room when one of them comes in. It appears to eat her life force when half of one gets in the way. After reassembling, Tulip throws one to the door to make a barricade. Both manage to escape just in time. Where Tulip forms a plan, perhaps the conductor can tell them what is going on. As far as one can tell, the conductor will probably be at the engine. The episode ends with a shot showing the whole train, and Tulip saying, "I'm getting off this train." Credits roll. My first impression of this show is very good. For being only 11 minutes, the characters and the story are very well explained. It has emotion, some moments I found genuinely funny, and a reason to stick around. While I do like this animation style, I wouldn't say it's breaking any new grounds by any means. However, this is fine due to the story. If I were to summarize the show, I would say it's like Steven Universe meets Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty for its bizarre locations, and Steven Universe for its storytelling. However, you're all probably wondering, would I recommend it? For that, I would say, oh, most definitely. I think I've already said the reasons why by now. That's it for this log. I hope you will join me next time for episode 2, titled The Beach Car.